Organic farming is practically an integrated farming system, and it contains of different stuff, but it's more about sustainability. It's also about encouraging the fertility of the soil and biodiversity.
So organic agriculture is searching for a balance, getting something productive out of a landscape, but also enhancing its biodiversity, enhancing its nutrient content in the soil at the same time.
Organic food means to me something very familiar, foods where I know where it's coming from exactly, and foods I know how proceeded from the seeds to my table. When my first son was born, he's 18 now, so I mean that was a point when I decided that I need to change my habits of cooking and buying and all different things, because I think eating is the most important part of our life. So it didn't change in the last 5,000 years that people are really living for eating. We do a lot of other things, but to eat is really the most, it's like if you can't eat, then you can't do anything else. So eating is the base of all our other activities. So if you can change the way of eating, and if you can change this activity, then I hope and I believe that all the others' attitude change by itself. So this is the main point of changing, according my view. I'm using Satyr. I have to make the order at Tuesday by noon. So this is I'm always thinking about on Monday morning, and this is very good because I can plan the whole week menu, which I think helps a lot, because then I don't make this shopping by ideas and then you buy lots of things that you don't need at all.
So all this story has started 11 years ago or something like that, and it was coming from the need that there were a couple of families and friends, and they would have liked to source healthy fruit from the neighborhood. And to be honest, at that time it was not as much easy as it is nowadays. So they have started to create the links between the farmers and between the consumers, and they aim to have a weekly order from this healthy food.
They work in different ways. They establish their own system, whether they want to make their own boxes, whether they want to have a vegetable list which people can order, whether they want to have a shop. The way it works for us is we know what's growing well, and we know what's available on the farm. We know what we have a lot of. So we, just like any other person who's making a product, we send out a list of the products we have available the week before with the price.
When I'm buying organic food, then I know exactly how the vegetables or meat or dairy products arrived to my home, and mostly I know the farmers, the real farmers. A lot of times I have possibility to meet them, to go to their farms, to talk to them, to see their process, and this is how I can trust, and this is why I am willing to pay sometimes twice more than in the supermarket.
It's not always the case that it necessarily needs to be more expensive than what is in the supermarket, because there's certain times of the year, especially if you're eating seasonally, when there's an abundance in produce, when the price that you can sell organic food for really resembles what's in the supermarket, and the quality is much, much higher. In different times of the year though, if you have in your head in mind what you would pay for food in a supermarket, and you're comparing that directly to the price of organic food, you're not comparing the same thing, because the meaning of the locally sourced organic product is completely different than the product that came off of a distant chain. It's important to know when purchasing food, what does this mean socially? So who am I benefiting directly when I make this food purchase? And so this brings it to the point that a smart food choice is all of these things: healthy, having knowledge about the origin of the food, knowing where it comes from, knowing the production practices.
So I think the real difference is that when we are thinking about organic food, is a bit more about thinking about our health. And of course it's really important because I think it's a kind of first motivator to move to that direction, to the direction of that lifestyle. But on the other hand, we would also like to make people to feel a bit more socially sensitive to this question. And when you make a choice, again, let's come back to avocado and quinoa. So you make a choice that you go for an organic version of these products, then it may be good for your health, but on the other hand, it has a huge impact on the environment. On one hand, it's coming from the cost, the invisible cost of the long delivery distance, and on the other hand is also about how the farming changes the landscape at those countries. And you have to think about those people, if they have a healthy living condition, and your choices from time to time at the supermarket have an impact on that. We would really like to explore new activities through which we can reach more and more people who may not have a kind of connection to the green movement yet, but in that way they can have a kind of tasting.
One thing that I think is really important to add is that we shouldn't think of locally produced and sustainably produced food as some mythical, unattainable thing no matter where we are. Whether we're in Paris, whether we're in New York City, whether we're in Stockholm, whether we're in Budapest, whether we're in Prague, whatever district you're in, you likely don't need to travel too far to actually participate in a sustainable food system, in a short food supply chain, in a direct marketing box system or producer's market. These things, without any real top-down support, with a lot of opposition against them through the globalized food chain, have still found a way to exist through the tenacity and through the efforts of pioneer farmers and also pioneer citizens who know the importance of localized conscious food chains. So it's not such a complex piece of advice to just say find these things and support them. They're out there.